about veterans. Bringing on, we got Eddie Craig checking in, Craig Powers, Mike Hampton. Thanks a lot, guys, for checking in. To Brown Beauty on duty, Jesse Terrero, Jesse T's with you, and we're rocking it in the place to be on a Friday in Southern California. Blue skies around everywhere, great blue Pacific oceans, smashed up, crashed up, trafficked up freeways. The 405 is bumper to bumper, side to side. Man, it's front to back. We're squeezing along here at about 3.5 miles an hour, but we're going to get to the station here, and we're going to get there, and we're going to be keeping the show going, because no matter what, the show keeps on going. That's the beauty of the technology. You never know where Jesse T is going to show up. I may just show up at your barbecue. Hey, you never know what's happening when the Brown Beauty's on duty. So, veterans. Well, the passing of a man about a week ago, and his funeral today, of course, the greatest, Muhammad Ali. The passing of the greatest boxer of our generation and perhaps generations to come. I personally think that Muhammad Ali was the greatest boxer the world has ever seen of any era. And I also personally believe that Rocky Marciano was the greatest, most durable, strongest, vicious hitter, and could take a punch and was like a bull. The most powerful boxer ever. As you know, he went undefeated in the heavyweight division. So those two guys, we could argue the point who would win in a fight between them both or who was greater. But there's nothing you can say about Muhammad Ali other than to say he was the greatest. Christopher Sin is checked in. He's checked in. Thanks, Christopher. We're broadcasting live from the Grey Ghost, slowing down the freeway, talking about veterans and veterans issues today. Muhammad Ali was the greatest, and one of the greatest things that he ever did, in my opinion, which proved to me as a young boy the honor of this man. Oh, he had the sayings, I fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't hit what you can't see. He had all that stuff going on. He was rapping before anybody. He was the rhyme master of all time. He would talk to you while he was hitting you. He would put rhymes together and tell you about things while he was beating you up in the ring. He was the greatest. But one thing that made him the greatest was the love that the world had for this man. And the thing, and the reason is because this guy, he stood up for what he believed, he said what he believed, and he stood behind with action. At the time of the Vietnam War, and a lot of folks weren't born then, and a lot of were very young. I was a teenager. In 73, I was 13 years old. My folks were worried about me having to go to the Vietnam War because it had continued to go on. It had continued to not stop. And they were worried about me going over there. They didn't want me to be one of the 58,000 to be killed in Vietnam. I didn't know too much about it at that time, but I knew there was a battle going on. And of course, it was on the TV news every night of the week. But I didn't really know the political aspirations of it or anything like that. But the one thing I did know is that there were a lot of people draft dodging. Because in my house, my father served in Korea, and he flew off the USS Lexington. Hey, thanks a lot, Christopher Stein. I love that hat too, man. I got a black one, I got a white one, I got a red one. It's cool, man. I love these hats, these fedoras. Anyhow, for those of you who are listening to the radio audience, I got this beautiful fedora on, Frank Sinatra style. And I just love hats. Anyway, my father served in the Korean theater, and he was a veteran on the USS Navy. My grandfather served in the Army Corps of Engineers protecting the Panama Canal during World War II. He was a big heavy equipment operator, but he was also part of the United States Army Corps of Engineers. He was a soldier, but he was too old to go fight in the battlefront, so they put him down in Panama to protect the Panama Canal, dredge it for the big ships coming in. And, he had to fight and protect it against German U-boats and submarines trying to sabotage the Panama Canal. That's something you never hear about. And so I grew up understanding the honor of veterans and in that respect. And it was something that that was very dear and close to my heart. So I understand as a teenager what draft dodging was about. I asked my father, these are people that didn't want to serve in the United States military, and so they dodged the draft, and many of them went to Canada. They crossed the border to Mexico and Canada. And I have no respect for those people. If you were one of those people and you're 60 or 70, 75 years old today, I have no respect for you. None at all. I want you to know that. Hey, you want to draft dodge? You don't want to live up to the responsibility of this great nation? You don't want to participate like all the other men did during the Vietnam War? You don't want to participate like the men and women if we ever institute the draft again here in this country? That's one thing. You want to say, that's not going to be me? I'm not going to fight for anybody? That's one thing. But when you cross the border and run away like a coward with your tail between your legs and your ears back, you're a coward. You are a coward and you have no honor. And I'll say it right here. That's the way it is to me. Because look it, you should have did what Muhammad Ali did. That man earned his respect by his deeds. He garnered his respect by his actions. He said, I ain't going to fight no Viet Cong. They never did nothing to me. The Viet Cong never said anything to me. They never called me the N-word. And I'm not going to repeat that word here on the radio. But you know what word I'm talking about. Muhammad Ali said the Viet Cong never did nothing to him. But if he's going to fight somebody, he's going to fight somebody here in this country who called him that word and spit in his face and did these things. But you know what he did that meant more to anything to me than anything? What he did is he stood up for what he said, and he was in jail. He was arrested. He was willing to be arrested and live in prison and go to jail for his convictions. Now, it went to the appellate court, and they fought it. Absolutely. That they did. But, nevertheless, what happened was he stood up for what he said. He didn't shuck the responsibility of what he said. He stood up in the face of it all and said, hey, I'm going to say what I say, I'm going to do what I do, but I'm also going to back it up with my actions. Now that is a man that has honor. That is a man that has conviction. That is a man that you put your hand out and shake his hand in respect. You may not agree with his position, but you must agree with his honor.
Jesse, we have your caller.
Hey, great. Hey, Joshua, how you doing, buddy?
Jesse T, we're doing great here in Richmond, man. A great rally out here for Trump.
Hey, I like that. Tell me about what's happening there.
We have thousands out here at the Richmond Coliseum supporting Donald Trump for president in 2016. We have hundreds of veterans here and numerous bikers for Trump, and we're making a difference, making sure we keep the peace and also ensure that we share our convictions with others.
Joshua Macias, everybody. He runs the organization Veterans for Trump, and we have him on the line. He's on the other side of the country as we broadcast out on www.thepowerofvoices.com. Appreciate you checking in with us for the few moments. I know you're busy. What I'm doing right now, just to give you a look-see into what we're doing, I'm rolling down the 405 freeway in Los Angeles. Don't you love the technology, baby? Yeah!
I love it, Jesse T. This is how we roll, man. You know,
hey,
at the same time, we're surrounded by the boys in blue. We've got about 40 of them right here around us. Richmond's finest. We're loving it. We're so grateful to have them here for security purposes. But at the same time, these are just some great individuals. So we have them as well as about 30 Secret Service around us. And we're in a bullpen right now where you can only get cleared to get to. So, yeah, man, it's exciting. Good time.
That's real exciting stuff going on there. Now, the thing that I found very special and that I wanted to talk about with you, sir, was the fact that you are a veteran. You served our country. Thank you very much for your service, sir. I want you to know that. And you had a hard time just like many of our returning veterans from all theaters of war through the decades of America, you've had an experience that we wish and hope nobody has to experience, but our
Right.
military men and women, our personnel, oftentimes have to go in harm's way to protect America and our way of life. But one of the things that you did is that you got out there and got started putting together this concept of veterans organizations together to help veterans, and you call it the Veterans for Trump. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to do this and how you got started real quickly.
Beautiful, will do. And before I do, I want to introduce you to my friend Chris Cox here, who's also with me. And underneath Vets for Trump and also alongside, we work together to ensure that we keep the peace for everyone who shows up that is peacefully wants to share their convictions with others. And I'd like to answer that with Chris Cox and talking about 22 awareness and what really instilled both of us to be here. So, Jesse T, I want to introduce you to Chris Cox. He's going to share about Bikers for Trump, and then I'm going to dovetail a little bit to answer that question directly. It's going to
That'd be great.
All right,
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. Chris Cox here with Bikers for Trump. And just a little background, we've been throwing rallies all over the country since last August. We started off in Virginia Beach, moved into South Carolina. We had 4 in Florida, where we had over 1,000 bikers show up in Daytona Beach for Bike Week. From there, we moved into New York, and then Pennsylvania, on to Indiana and West Virginia. We're one of the fastest growing demographics in the presidential campaign cycle. And as you know, the backbone of the motorcycle community is the veteran. And we're very excited to be here. I myself am not a veteran, but as a civilian, we don't have a lot of opportunities to serve our country, and this is quite an opportunity that I've fallen into to serve my country by working for the sole purpose of electing Donald Trump for president.
So tell me about what inspired you to get your organization going in terms of Bikers for Peace, biker events, Bikers for Trump, Bikers for Veterans. What inspired you guys as a group to get together and say, look, if we can make a difference, we can help veterans? What was an incident that made you decide, hey, I got to stand up, I got to do something?
Well, just as Chris just shared, that veterans are the backbone of the community, especially in the Bikers for Trump, but really in every demographic. You know, we are doctors, we are servicemen in every shape, form. We are police officers. We're out there in the civil service sector. We are the workers, the street sweepers. We're everywhere. There's 26 million veterans in America, and within 1 degree separated, you have to get over 100 million people that you get connected to. And I've seen comrades in arms, friends of mine that served overseas, come home and not get the support that they needed. And then we find, even in this call right now, we're going to lose a veteran to self-inflicted wounds. And this 22 awareness is one of the things that really drove me to help my demographic, help the veteran community to make a difference. And, you know, one of the things, Jesse T, I talk about all the time is that I made an oath. I made an oath to uphold the Constitution against both foreign and domestic enemies. And I said that when I was 20 years ago. And I went out and I fought against Al-Qaeda and others in the Persian Gulf War to make sure that our country was safe and its shores. And I made sure that I was fighting against the foreign enemies. When I come home, I'm like, okay, now I'm seeing domestic enemies everywhere that do not care about our Constitution, who want to step on our flag, run over our rights, don't care anything about the amendments anymore, and want to demoralize and decentralize our Western culture. And I will not be the good German equivalency of our current decade. I'm not going to stand by idly while I watch my country, which I served and made an oath to uphold, to protect the Constitution, which serves and built our country, fall apart. And I cannot stand idly by and see as my veteran comrades in arms are falling to their own inflicted wounds. And there are so many issues that we can solve if we just get unified and organized under one banner. And Donald Trump is that banner. He is the only voice that we've had in decades who has stood firm against the liberal media, the bias that wants to turn the veteran community into a second-class citizen. They want to suppress the veteran. They want to push the veteran away, and they'd rather, quite frankly, see the boomer generation to die off and disappear. But we will not let that happen. We are not going to go out into the night quietly.
That's
something that
all the veterans.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I'd like to add what brought me into this. I've been in Capitol Hill for several years working on a bill, H.R. 1836, that will help the veteran, the Monuments Protection Act. And I've seen firsthand the establishment pandering to the herd holding those party lines, and those party lines preventing us from enacting common sense policies and from repealing policies that are proven ineffective, costing money, jobs, and sometimes lives. So we've got a really good movement here, teamed up with bikers and teamed up with veterans, and we couldn't be more excited to be working with great men like Joshua and other veterans that have stepped forward.
Okay, we're live here at www.thepowerofvoices.com, also on ABTV Live in our digital broadcasting network at www.facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. And you can also catch us as I move into the studio here. We'll be live on about 10 or 15 other internet connections here as we social network out. You know, the recent stuff that happened in San Jose about a week and a half ago, and all the violence that took place there, and all the flag burning and the egg throwing and the pushing and the window breaking and all of that. There were recent articles that were posted all in the internet and in the newspapers too about some of these plants that were paid to go there and create the strife and create the riots and create the bad behavior in that respect. How do we stop that from happening at rallies that especially are for veterans, as we talk about veterans in today's show? How do we intercede and protect ourselves against that?
Well, as you know, veterans have been out on the front lines and served in multiple tours. And when they come home, they're looking for another way to put themselves to good use and to serve again and get back to the mission, which is serving their country. And these veterans are also great threat spotters. Their situational awareness is amazing. They are tuning forth to problems. They can see when something is going on, and they can alert the proper authorities and let them know that something is not right. And we are very well aware of what is going on around us, so we are able to help people, and we want to serve. And so what we found is that the veterans are all throughout every rally, and they are threat responders. So if they see a threat, if they see an issue, they will ensure that they bring it to the right proper authority and have it handled, and ensure that that also those who need to be protected are also escorted along. And I'd like to pass it over to Chris to explain what Bikers for Trump is doing, and also the veterans within Bikers for Trump.
Hold on, Joshua. Bikers for Trump now, we're preparing for Cleveland. It's only going to get worse. Political correctness has tongue-tied this America, and Donald Trump is one-handedly untied the tongues of America, and we want to keep that trend going. So we're going to be showing up in numbers. As you know, bikers would rather have their ass kicked than their feelings hurt. And we'll be there standing strong, and we will do our best to prevent any of the civil disobedience. Meanwhile, we just want to be respectful to the people that are around us, and we're just going to do their best to have a big impact.
Well, you know, I want to make a point here, you know, in terms of a person's political persuasion, either, whatever it is, whether it's Republican, Democrat, evangelical, conservative, whether it's Libertarian or Green Party, it really doesn't matter. The bottom line here is that we must respect the fact that these men and women have served for us overseas to protect our lives and to keep our lives in a safe environment and allow America to be the America that it has been, will be, and will continue to be. And anything that we can do as a citizenry in this country to reach our hands and help our veterans, no matter what persuasion we are, what ethnicity we are, what religion we are, what sexual tendencies we have, what age we are, where we're from in the world. If we're Americans, we need to stand up for what America is about. And that's one of the things that I think is bringing to the forefront this election cycle, in that in Donald Trump and others, most of the American public is just completely despondent and has great discourse and is very upset with this political correctness crap. And I've been saying that for 20 years, this brouhaha about political correctness. And it's interesting that you mentioned that. And what are you seeing out there at these rallies? Are you seeing people that love the straight talk that's happening?
I don't know if I'd say that. Yeah, okay, let me retract. I'd say that they definitely love the straight talk. But when you're talking about a Trump supporter, they are all in for Donald Trump. They want to see him be the next president, right? And when you see any protesting going on, yes, they are. There's a lot of them that are being paid to be there. So it's not. They don't really care about the cause. They just are doing it to be a part of anarchy. They're doing it to dissolve and disillusion everyone around them. And as veterans, we stand firm. We're like, we're not going to let that happen. So we ensure that we escort our patriots that come here to support Donald Trump, that they get home safe, that they're able to see their loved ones. And then we also want the children here. This is a family event. I talked to a great American out there, and he didn't want to bring his kids in because he was concerned of protesters. And that is not America. That is not how America is supposed to be run. That's not how we're going to let others bully people around. That's flat out domestic terrorism. And we're going to call it what it is, and we're not going to let this happen anymore. And so as Trump supporters, we're here in unity. We're here in force. We're here with families. We're here with children. We're here with the elderly. We're here with the disabled. And we're protecting all of them and ensuring that they all have a safe place to make sure that America is great again underneath the banner of Donald Trump.
Joshua, let me ask you this question about some of the programs that are available for veterans. And since you're part of that inside circle with Donald Trump, the soon-to-be nominee, for all intents and purposes, the Republican nominee, what types of programs that are being batted around and that are inspirational that we can talk about, that some of these new, fresh ideas that will help the actual veteran's family?
Well, it's imperative that there's a couple of things that need to happen, right? We understand through what's called hierarchy of needs, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that you first have to have your basic fundamental needs taken care of. And that's food, shelter, clothing, right? And so first, a veteran has to have housing. It's like anyone's basic needs need to be met. And then after that, you give the stigma out of the stink out of being a veteran, and help them to get a job, help them to have a job that they can go to. But with an economy and a housing crisis that we've had, so many problems, we have to overcome those issues. And we have to also overcome the physical deformities, the physical issues that have occurred from being wounded, from getting overseas, or having things that have occurred to the veteran, and then help them to get back on their feet again. And we're doing that by bringing jobs to the veterans. We have a job placement for another 250 veterans working as threat spotters with Tactical Institute. We're working with nonprofits and for-profits alike to take these veterans that have the tactical awareness, train them in the technologies. You and I both know technology is amazing. To use technology to certify these threats and bring them to the FBI, bring them to DARPA, and we've stopped 20 school shootings just within the past 10 months doing so. And that's only with 4 badges, and we're about to add 250, and we're taking this global. That's just one initiative. We have a veteran village that's being created with 2,000 acres just outside of D.C. This is really going to be a veteran city that is totally green, that is focused on veteran issues with wraparound services, and we're seeing these communities pop up everywhere around the country. So we are veterans helping veterans in our community, with our resources that are still strong and vast. We're unifying those other types of issues.
One of the things that really bothers me over my lifetime, I'm 55 years old. I remember the Vietnam War, and I was speaking about that earlier. When the veterans came back from Vietnam, they were so severely disrespected by Americans. The Korean veterans were basically the forgotten heroes. My father served in Korea. The veterans that came out of the Grenada exposure there under Reagan's time, and of course the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. It seems to me, and this is what upsets me so much about our political process, fellas, and it seems to me that, man, come on, what is it with you people? These people put their lives on the line for you. Don't we get it as a citizenry in this country? We need to take care of these people, and I really don't care what political party you're from. I mean, come on. They paid their lives for you. What's wrong with you? And it seems like every generation is exposed to this kind of backwards mentality, and it really bothers me very much. When are we Americans going to finally get it, fellas? When are we going to get it?
That's a good question, Jesse. I'm not sure. But as a veteran myself, I've beaten this war drum since I got out in 2002. And I'd like Chris to share a little bit, because he connects to a lot of Vietnam veterans, Korean veterans within the Bikers for Trump, and how his passion is for them as well. I agree with you.
Jesse T., if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Bikers for Trump was lucky enough to pass the endorsement from Rolling Thunder last Saturday last Sunday to Donald Trump. Millions of members with chapters all over the country. Bikers for Trump is spearheading H.R. 1836, a bill that's designed to help the veteran. It'll require the Secretary of Interior and the Secretary of Agriculture to enter into agreement with state and local governments to provide for the continued operation of an open-air war memorial during the last appropriation, so that never again a politician or administration can use an open-air war memorial for political posturing, retaliation, or gain. That's just one of the things that we're working on, and we just couldn't be more exciting. Real quick, our talking points for Bikers for Trump. We are looking for a president who's going to call it what it is, radical Islam, who's going to get behind and fight ISIS and take the fight to them. Second, because bikers want to see a wall built, because they want Syrian refugees vetted. It doesn't make us racist, it makes us patriots. And third, and most important for us, is getting behind the American veteran. We believe it's incumbent for anyone who understands the sacrifice and commitment of our servicemen and women, both active duty and retired, that we have to get behind them and start in Washington and changing these policies and start treating them like the heroes that they are.
I've argued this point so many times with people. The GI Bill after World War II, which was instituted, created the middle class in America. It gave 6 million returning men and women fighting overseas and globally a chance to get an education, a chance to get healthy, and a chance to buy a house with no money down. These basic little concepts, we've lost these values, and it does nothing but upset me to no end on how we can't do just the basic things in this great country, God's blue-green earth, the greatest country in the world, how we can't just do the basic things. In my area where I do a lot of business and work, the Northeast San Fernando Valley, we have so many homeless people, and 60% of them are veterans, and most of them are under the age of 40. Go friggin' figure. It just drives me into orbit. Anything we can do to help these men and women, I'm behind.
Well, thank you, Jesse T. Thank you for giving us a chance to be here. And as the chair of the Vets for Trump, I'm really excited to be on board to be able to help push the veteran narrative across the country and help unify the veterans to a cause. You know, one of the things that is a stigma in every generation of veteran is that they really just allow things to happen to them because they served and they were institutionalized mindset. And yet they also understand the need and at the time to step forward and fight because they know that if good men do nothing, evil will prevail. And for veterans, for their own community, they're banding together. That's what I want to see happen more and more. And if any veteran that's on your show that hears this, that wants to get on board with our movement, and just as Chris had talked about, we are the largest growing movement within the Trump movement. They can go to vets-for-trump.com. That's vetsfortrump.com. Register, link up with a local chapter. If they want to get on board with as a biker, as a combat veteran themselves, they can do the same through registration there on our website. We'll connect them right to Bikers for Trump. You know, the Secret Service is looking at us now, Jesse T. Donald Trump's about to be here, so we're going to have to say goodbye and close this interview out. But I'd love to be able to be with you more. You know, we can schedule some more time and individually with Chris and I be able to talk more at length about this. We'd love to share about how we can help in your local communities as well.
Oh, that's fantastic, fellas! You have a good rally tonight, and get out there and let's stir up some positive energy to help our returning men and women and our men and women that need our help. Hey, God bless you. And for your service to our great country. And Chris, I really appreciate your service too, jumping on board here and raising these issues of awareness. It's so very important that the American public, 327 million people, understand that this country is great because of fellas and ladies who serve this country because they want to. Because they want to. That's the important thing. They want to. God bless you guys, man.
Richmond Finance here, Jesse T. And I got to tell you, looking at these men and women here, I know that we are able to make America great again with the support of them and others around us. So thanks, Jesse, again for your time. And we're going to go into this rally and make a difference for America, okay?
Hey, man, good luck. Have a great time. We're going to do this on TV, too.
That's right.
All right, guys. We'll talk some more. God bless you guys. Appreciate it. Hey, you got it right there, guys. www.thepowerofvoices.com, and we are on live here as we transition from the Gray Ghost into the studio here, and that was just some crazy wild feedback that you got there. but that's okay. We're going to kill this.
Implementation right there. And so that's gone away. Well, that was a great conversation, actually. It was very different. It was really cool to catch those guys right before they go out to this big, giant rally. You know, we see those things on TV all the time, especially the one in San Jose that turned into a fighting mess. And it was really sad to see reports, not just from one political party, but from the general news media in itself, that some of those people were paid to be there to just be disruptors. And, you know, that's not what it should be about. I mean, if you're not a kinship or a party to a certain political idea or repertoire, that's okay. You know, but don't go and disrupt somebody else's. That's absolutely the most ridiculous thing that you can do. It's so selfish, and it really makes you look worse than even perhaps with the people that you're discussing with and arguing against. So it's really terrific to hear these guys right before they go on. They're excited about the veterans cause, which I think is the most important thing. Veterans themselves need so much help in this country today. And as we started the show off, we were talking about Muhammad Ali. He's really a hero in a lot of ways, because what he did is he basically said, I'm not going to go fight somebody who's not my enemy, but I'm going to stand up and I'm not going to run away. So that was a heroic deed that this man did in that respect. And that in itself makes Muhammad Ali as a great spokesman for the ideology of what it means to be a great American in that respect. So, you know, even the greatest one understood the concept of how to place himself with the idea about veterans issues and veterans affairs. And that was one of the wonderful things about Muhammad Ali that made him such a lovable person in terms of the world and Americans. And the thing about Donald Trump, you like him or you don't like him. Now, that's up to you. You may like Bernie Sanders. You may like Clinton. You may like some of these other presidential politicians who are you're starting to see a little more of the libertarians here or there and whatnot, because what's happening there is there's some extra time now. For the most part, the power of the media has basically just picked that it's going to be Trump and it's going to be Hillary. So, and that's probably what it's going to be, unless they replace Trump, the Republican Party, unless they replace Trump at the convention itself. And they just might. They're trying to do that, which I think is egregious. The guy won fair and square. Whether or not you agree with what he's saying, he still won, going through the ring of fire. And if he's the nominee, then let him be the nominee. In terms of that. So it's probably, for the most part, it's going to be Clinton and Trump. All right. So, but we are starting to see the other presidential nominees get a little bit of time. So whatever and whomever that you like, that's up to you. But don't go disrupting somebody else's game. You know, get out there and vote and work hard for the issue and the people that you like. But we can all rally around one thing. There's some very basic things in terms of what makes America, America. And one of those basic things is our veterans. Did you know that there are more veterans in America than any one group living today? There are more veterans that have served who are 89 years old and served back in Korea, and maybe a few almost 100-year-old World War II guys, because they're up in their 90s now, mid to late 90s. All the way down to the young men and women who are 18 years old today who are in boot camp. So the veteran age bracket is very large. So you know that more veterans live in this country than any other one group. In fact, a third of all the veterans that live in this country, a third of all the veterans that live in this country are homeless. And now that's a mind boggler. They're homeless. A third. That runs into the tune of 20, 30, 40, 50 million. It's unbelievable that we have allowed our process of bureaucracy and our process of Washington and our process of political correctness and our process of this is my party and I'm going to follow the party over anything, over a man and a woman who's put their life on the line. And hey, they don't have to be in front of their catching bullets and shooting bullets. They could be the supply unit, that's 27 miles behind or 60 miles behind. That's just as dangerous. They're just as much in the theater of war and a target. They're supporting these guys and gals out there, fighting the fight and rushing the hills. All right? All right. So we have to do something in this country right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, right now. We got to do something. We got to get up and we got to make something happen. And the way we do that is we have to get up and make something happen individually. The power of the people, the power of the voice, the power of the voices. When it comes together, it can move mountains. Okay? It can move mountains. You have to get behind these rallies for veterans. We have to solve the homelessness problem for them. We have to give them the opportunities to get well, to heal both inside, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. We have to help them with food and education and water. They deserve that. And nothing more bothers me. That just grinds me right to the asphalt is when people burn the flag, spit on veterans, burn the uniform, disregard a veteran's funeral, show up on the outskirts of the funeral, yell expletives at their families. There's nothing more than bothers me. And it should bother you. I don't care what persuasion you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you do. It should bother you. And if it doesn't, what kind of person are you? Get out of this country. Pack your bags and go. Go somewhere else. We owe it to them. If there's any one group in this country that we owe something to, we owe it to a veteran. Oh, yeah, not all veterans are good people. Don't get me wrong. There's criminals and there's weirdos and there's sickos and there's people that just like to live on the draw. They're freeloaders. I'm dealing with a friggin' freeloader in one of my units. I don't want to talk about that. I'd like to have an M1A1 Abrams tank and just drive through the unit one night. Well, that's another story. But we need to do something, folks. We need to get out there. We need to rally, whether it's a Trump rally, whether it's a Clinton rally, whether it's a rally because you want to rally. We need to get involved. And we need to put the pressure on those that we elect. These knuckleheads. We put them in office and they give us a bunch of promises. And they get in office and they start making that money, honey. They start getting that greedy power base going. And they forget. They get lost in their own diatribe of politics. Glorified egos. The longer they're there, the worse it is for us. Now we're about ready to send more guys and gals to go fight in the Middle friggin' East again. Fallujah. Hey, what happened? Didn't we just lose enough guys and gals in Fallujah last time? We expect our military to be something. Well, we have to make the expectation that we have to be there for them. And that's just not getting out on 4th of July and Veterans Day, Memorial Day, waving the friggin' flag, which I love so much, and clapping your hands and hugging a veteran. Hey, forget that. Let's get down to the real nitty-gritty. Let's get straight on the point here. Why don't you get up off your butt and get out to your Veterans Center and start getting involved with the homeless issue. The number one issue right now in Southern California and almost all around the country is homelessness with veterans. Yesterday, we were out in the street with the show, Jesse T show. I'm getting so riled up, I'm forgetting my name. The Jesse T show. We were out there yesterday, and we came across a guy. He wasn't a veteran, but he's homeless. Young guy. I gave him my card afterwards, like I said. He lives in a tent over there. He's pointing me that was his house. And I said, you know any veterans? When I went back and gave him my card, he said, yeah, there's lots of guys here that are veterans. I don't care what your feelings about that interview were. Yeah, they were Trump supporters. It's obvious. They were, Kumbaya, the great Trumpster. Trump, 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 Trump. And the Clinton people will be the same way. Clinton, 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 in her $12,000 friggin' jacket. Why don't you take that jacket, Miss Clinton, and go sell it at the pawn shop, get some money, and go feed a friggin' veteran? You too, Trump. Why don't you take your $10 billion? Why don't you take $500 million of it and go drop it somewhere? Oh, wait, he does. Look at talk is talk. The walk is what we're talking about. I don't know who does what and who doesn't do what. All I know is there's not enough of what being done. And we got to do something. And today's show, Friday show, the Jesse T show, straight on the point live at 5, baby. We have to do something. It's not a comfortable issue to talk about. I understand at www.thepowervoices.com, especially the way I talk about it, because I'll shame your butt. Shame on you. The reason why we have a veterans problem is because we, citizens of America, have a problem. You and me. We get in our new gray Ghost, We get in our Bentleys and our Ferraris and our Corvettes and our 67 Chevy pickup trucks. And we get in our motorcycles and we get in our Fords and we drive to go see the movie and get some popcorn and do all this stuff. But we forget. We forget. Who's the first people you call when you want something done? Do you call your cousin Joe down the street around the corner who may have had too many six-packs in his body? No, you call the PD, baby. The sheriff. Yeah, who do you call when your house is burning to the ground? You call the Three Stooges? No, you call the fire department. And who do you call to defend your country? The United States Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. And do they say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're having some escargot right now. And, we'll call you back. No, they go running. See, I'm just as much a fault of this as you. I am just as much the fault as you. I don't do enough. I got to do more. We fight the Coalition Against Human Trafficking, CAHT. Cindy Sauer and I built a nice little coalition. And it covers the homeless issue because there's a lot of youngsters that are on the streets in Southern California who are under 18 years old. And they're lost. These 15 and 16-year-old girls and boys, they're lost. I come upon them all the time. And if they're cute or anything, hey, they get wrapped up by these human traffickers and pimps. I think anybody who talks about glorifying pimps in music should be thrown in jail. How about that one? I don't do enough to help the veterans. That's going to change. That's going to change right now. What are you going to do? 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 You know, if we all do something, my father taught me, I'm the only child. My father taught me that we're a family. We're all for one and one for all. And if the family gives to the family and gives and gives and gives, then nobody in the family wants for nothing because it's all there already. Yeah, I hope I'm shaming you because I'm shaming myself. Why is there no Clinton rally for the veterans? Hey, I'll give equal time. If there's any Democrat out there who loves Clinton, give me a call. I want to talk to you about the veterans. Why don't I see all the churches in Southern California grouped together once a month and count the homeless and ask, are you a veteran? You know, I participate in, did you know, this is true, across the nation, one time a year, there's, from city to city and county to county, they have a thing that's called National Night Out to Count the Homeless. And I'm a Sun Valley Neighborhood City Council voted on board member, okay, in an area in the Northeast San Fernando Valley. And we count the homeless. And with that count, they take that and they distribute money and food and these types of things to the people that need it. It's only one time a year. At the end of World War II, they had the GI Bill. And our men and women, and there were women that fought in the theater too. Don't you let not forget that. And it just wasn't white men from the East Coast. It was black men and brown men and Native Americans and Asians. We had Japanese. We had Navajos. Because the Germans and the Japanese couldn't understand their friggin' language. I can't even understand my language, let alone understand a Navajo language. They were called the Night Walkers because they could speak in the middle of the day in their native tongue where it was never written down. All those people came back, the ones that lived. And we gave them something. We thanked them. We loved them. We gave them a chance to get educated. We gave them a chance to get well. The Veterans Administration was developed for that. We gave them a chance to buy a house with no money down. Fixed payments for 30 years. And we made a lot of babies. 88 million babies were made. You see what happens when veterans are happy? They make a lot of babies, baby. When you got a happy veteran, they're doing it. Do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is. Do it. Do it. Do it. Let's get it on. Right. Sexual healing. Right? Ho! Baby making time. Fun time. You have a happy family making babies. You got a happy family because everybody's happy. Tell me I'm wrong. What do we do now? They can't buy a house with no money down unless they live in friggin' Alaska. Not in California. What do we do now? The Veterans Administration is so broken up and filled full of corruption. You read about it. You hear about it. What do we do now? This is no education bill. Oh, yeah, they do get still an education, but not like they did in World War II. No wonder America's population of baby making is going down. You put a veteran in the theater of war, and he or she comes back, all she wants to do and he wants to do is make friggin' babies. Or practice. I know how to solve America's baby making problem. We got to do something. We got to do more. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to do more. I have to do more. I, Jesse Terrero, the Brown Beauty on duty, has got to do more. And I'm going to do more. I'm going to get involved in these issues. I'm going to get involved in this homeless veteran issue. We have to get out there and we got to walk the streets. We got to meet and greet. We got to put our hand out and say, I'm here to help you. What do you need? What can I do for you? How can I help you? You do that one time a week, just one time a week. One time a week, 300 million Americans do that one time a week. That's 300 million good things one time a week. You go count them. Monday through Friday, 5 to 6, it's the Jesse T Show. Straight on the point, live at 5, right here at www.thepowerofvoices.com. Thepowerofvoices.com is here for you, my friends. We are here for you. This is all about you. We love you to participate. Please do. Lots of great shows, lots of great topics, lots of great hosts. But I'm the host that loves you the most. I'm Jesse T. And always remember, the Brown Beauty is off duty, baby.